Good evening and welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange. And following on from it was like a little trial run the other week with the early entries where we looked at the early entries in the championship races and so on. And tonight we're going to look at the novice and juvenile entries. We're probably going to split it up. I think we'll look at the hurdle races first, followed by the chases.
Yeah.
There we go. So it was all a bit of an experiment the other week, but going through the card, dissecting the card, seeing if we can not necessarily tip anything up, but just a few pointers maybe. As you can all see, we've been joined by a very special guest, Mr. Mark Mackay from Racing Chat on YouTube. Very experienced in this game, an established face who many of you will know. And I must say, who was extremely helpful to us when we started out on this a few years ago. Gave us a lot of advice, came on early on with us. And it's been a long time since you have been on. So it's lovely to have you on, Mark. Hope you're keeping well.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. Thanks very much for taking me. I love to come on to other shows, but, it was good to help other guys out. And you've been building, and it's all going really well for you guys, and I'm really pleased to see that.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, well, like I say, you're a great help, and many of you watching will already follow Mark's Cheltenham Chat on YouTube, I'm sure. Very, very knowledgeable. So, yeah, looking forward to you having a look at these races with the lads tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Unfortunately, no Matty tonight. But we've got Ian, John, and Alex. Let down. All doing okay, boys? Good weekend?
Very good. Thanks, OJ. Very good. Nice to be at Cheltenham. A few beers with Johnny.
Nice to be at Cheltenham.
A few Guinnesses ready for the...
You were let down, weren't
you? Yeah, Ginger Joe said he was going to come and meet us, and he cried it off again.
Oh.
As usual.
Having his Ovaltine in bed.
And you had a stable visit.
Season, so.
Yeah, you had a stable visit to Saturday morning. Was that good?
Yeah, very good. Went up to Ravenswell, saw some of the horses at Fergal, saw them some training, some schooling. Went to see my friend Crambo, my good friend Crambo, and my other good friend Bonte. We were really, really warmly welcomed and had some cake and some coffee afterwards. So it was all in all a really nice morning.
Excellent. Good. Right. Well, let's crack on and have a look at some of these cards. Obviously, in the novice races, there is going to be some pretty large looking cards for us to go through, I think, certainly compared to the other week. But yeah, no better place to start than the opening race of the meeting and the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Obviously a race that attracts a lot of interest as soon as the season begins. Firefox in there has been spoken about highly in a lot of places. Anybody got any particular thoughts of anything in here at the moment? Particular fancy?
I was just about to say to Alex, look at the price of no flyers on him. 16
to 1.
Jesus Christ.
He was 33 to 1 not long ago, was he? And then into 25s and now 16s. It's interesting. He's much closer in price for the Dublin 2-miler to Ballyburn than he is for this. So, you think he's 5 to 1 for that 2-miler. So, if he's got that much of a chance in that, then surely he'd be a shorter price in this. I like him, but he is definitely an outsider.
I like
Mark, have you got anything particular you're liking in the Supreme at the moment?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. I watched Jack Kennedy's interview. He nominated that he'd probably ride Firefox, which after beating Ballyburn first time out, I know probably Ballyburn wasn't fully fit then, but I don't think Firefox showed his best in Lawless and Nace, and coming back to 2 miles could be I don't think if he ran, he'd be 14, 16 to 1 on the day. I don't think Mirazur West will run. No flies on him. I think if he won in Dublin, I'm not sure Mystical Power would run either. I think he could go to the Ballymore, Mystical Power. I've got one written down here who I think is a massive outsider who might run well at the Dublin Racing Festival. Bulldog of Joseph, about 40 to 1.
There he is, Mark.
Yeah. He won at Tremor. Got a high RPR for his win at Tremor over Christmas. He's an outsider that you might want to have a look at. And of course, it's going to depend on the Dublin Racing Festival. If Daddy Longlegs came back to form, he's no forlorn hope either. His first time out win was good, but then, he lost it last time out in that Future Champions race and on the really bad ground. Didn't run a race that day. So those are the ones that I've got written down at the bigger prices. Firefox, no flies on him, Bulldog and Daddy Longlegs. But I haven't looked at the top of the market too much. Ballyburn could go to the Ballymore, so could Mystical Power. So, and I don't think those prices are going to change much. Well, Ballyburn's might if it won really well. But what about you guys? What about Jericho de Repine? I wasn't impressed with that on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I said straight after that race to the lads that that run reminded me very much of what John Bond did last, 2 seasons ago now, wasn't it? Where he sort of ground one out, didn't he? And sort of just got home in the end. I mean, it did show he did find a little bit off the bridle, but I couldn't have him for this now after seeing that, really. I was hoping for a little bit better, to be honest with you, with him. I mean, it'd be interesting how JP, like you say, Mark, splits these up, with 4 in there, in the top sort of 8 or 9, really. So this weekend's going to tell a lot, isn't it? I think, to see which ones slot into which race.
Jericho de Repine, it's a funny one, isn't he? The way Nicky was sort of talking him down, really, before the debut run and saying that he didn't know what all the hype was about and so on.
Yeah, he has done all season. So he's not beat much the first couple of times, and I say he was. I know he won, and obviously the price shows that he wasn't that impressive. He's come out to 8 to 1, but I've got to say I have backed him. I will admit, but I don't know. I just wonder if there's something. So as Mark said, I wonder if there's something else lurking at a bigger price that I don't know about a LeBake at 80 to 1 that we had the other year, but I wonder if there could be something lurking still that we may not have seen still yet.
I mean, what is good is it's actually quite open this year, and there's some good prices still left in there. Normally, we've got like a 5 to 4 favourite by now, haven't we? With horses in the past. There's been
there is Ballyburn goes there. He's 5 to 4 non runner no bet, isn't he? But I mean, that's the main thing with this race, isn't it? Does Ballyburn go here? And if he does, then it's a completely different race to if he doesn't.
Yeah,
depends on how you look at the betting, I guess.
I mean, further down, I mean, you've still got Will Mount in there at a big price, but he obviously disappointed last time on really poor ground. I don't know if he's got any other entries coming up over the next couple of weeks or so. He was obviously highly thought of, wasn't he? And there was quite a lot of talk about him, but then he had a disaster on the last day.
Is there a meeting at Newbury? Is there like a Super Saturday coming up? Is that Newbury?
Well, there'll be the meeting where the game spirit is.
I reckon we'll see him in the next week or two. I reckon he'll have one more run. I can't picture off the top of my head where it would be, but say known Henderson, creature of habit, it'd probably be Newbury or Kempton and one of those tracks that he normally uses. But I think we'll see him one more time, Will Mount.
What's the general consensus amongst you guys for Ballyburn then? Do you think he goes Ballymore or?
I think he'll end up in here, personally.
My wallet wants him to go to the Ballymore.
Is Tully Hill going under the radar at all?
He could be, I think. Yeah, he's jumping if it gets better. He's jumped poorly the first 2 runs he's had, but he was a lot better last time. Yeah. But he was a good bumper horse, and he's definitely going to stay at 2 miles, I think, by what Willie said.
Yeah.
So I think Dublin's going to tell us a lot about this market, because Ballyburn's going to need to win impressively to go to the Supreme, I think, because he's already got Mystical Power in there already from Mallin's Yard. So unless Ballyburn is impressive, I mean, if No Flies on Him turns them over, he's going to be into near favourite, and then Ballyburn's definitely going to go to the Ballymore.
Yeah.
And you've got Firefox in there who's beaten Ballyburn already.
Well,
I'm not pro Ballyburn myself, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, Caldwell Potter be interesting to see who buys him as well, won't it?
Yeah.
So,
I don't think he'll go the 2 miler though.
no.
Another way, I think he won today. Is it Punchestown? But you look at his price, he was 100 to 1. He's been smashed into 33 to 1 off the back of his. I'm sure it was today. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I've not seen the performance. I was just quite interested in how much he's been backed in since. But I don't know what he's beat or how he ran today. But that looks quite interesting.
Even a horse like Daddy Longlegs, who's in there at 33s. I mean, I could probably forgive him his last run because the ground was horrendous that day, wasn't it? Just after Christmas. I mean, off his first run, I think he was nearing a favourite, wasn't he, at the time, just after he'd put in that performance?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Must have been 6 or 7 to 1, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can forgive a horse one poor run. You just want to see them back. I mean, wouldn't want to back a horse having not performed well on its previous time at the festival, would you? Like, that's the question with Wilmot. I wouldn't want to back a horse who hadn't finished its last race. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Dublin's going to tell us a lot on this race because it's so open. And if it doesn't have a clear-cut winner, we could just end up with a Supreme like we had the year Classical Dream one, where it was like 5 to 1, 6 to 1 the field on the day. I think there's no real standout in this field unless something comes forward on Saturday or Sunday and wins really easily.
I noticed that other 1-1 today of Mullins's, didn't he? That Billericay Dickey, is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he'll go there, but the prices are quite different on it because Corals still have him at 66 to 1.
Yeah, 66.
And he's obviously a lot lower with the non-runner, no-bet firms, but that doesn't suggest he's going to go if they wouldn't be offering 66 to 1, would they?
He ran over 2.5 today, didn't he, on heavy ground? So, I mean, I'd be surprised if they move back to 2 miles if it's obviously going to be better ground. I don't know.
Yeah.
He looked better to me the further he went today, Billericay Dickey.
What about Brighter Days Ahead if she beat the boys on at the weekend?
He doesn't have in the mayor's office anyway. I can't see
get £7 here.
Yeah, true.
Well,
King of Kingsfield, Johnny.
Well, we were hoping for a handicap for King of Kingsfield, weren't we? But
blown his mark now, Johnny.
Yeah. What's he on? 144.
That's
Well,
that's our RPR, isn't it?
Yeah, that's RPR. Has he got a mark?
I suppose the only Grade 1 winner in the whole field's Far and Glory. And he should have been 2 Grade 1s as well. If he hadn't fallen that entry, he'd have won 2 Grade 1s, Far and Glory. And no one's talking about him.
No.
He won the Royal Bond. He should have won the Tolworth when he fell. He's probably the best value bet in the race at 12 to 1, I would think.
Yeah, well, that's a good shout, that.
Looks like King of Kingsfield's off 140, John.
Yeah, 140. Bit too high, isn't it, really, that now?
Well, once you put the Irish tax on, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be 145, 146, wouldn't it?
So generally a very open Supreme market looking at the moment, and all eyes on the DRF at the weekend.
I think so for me.
See if Mr. Mullins' string gets thinned out a little bit. Okay, happy to move on, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Ian and myself obviously still referring it to the Ballymore, which is
That's
not
right.
the Ballymore any longer. It's what is it, the Bear and Bingham novices or something? But Bearing Bingham
Is that the
novices.
original name, or is that a new sponsor?
Yeah, that's the registered name, isn't it? I think.
Ah.
So yeah, 2 mile 5. Anybody want to kick us off here? Obviously, we've just said we wondered about Ballyburn and whether there's been a lot of discussion from the start of the season whether he goes here or Supreme. Is he top of the market here?
I mean, that's what the market's going to revolve around Ballyburn, isn't it? Really, I think.
Yeah.
If he gets beat like Mark says, he'll probably come here, won't he? But if he hacks up over 2 at the weekend, then he'll probably go the Supreme. Just looking at the top few there, reading Tommy wrong, I see him as a Bartlett type horse, to be honest with you. And I think Mullins has already said that, or it might be who was a jockey on it last time? Was it
Daryl Jacob, wasn't it?
Alex's
yeah,
mate,
I think Daryl said something similar as well. Gidley Park ran quite well at the weekend. Whether he's good enough in this company, I don't know. He'll definitely, if he goes in this race, he'll probably definitely have a place chance. Whether he can win, I'm not so sure. And then you've got a few of the other, favourite names underneath, haven't you? The likes of Mystical Power, Caldwell Potter, Ilan Tartique. We haven't mentioned him yet, have we?
No.
Even though he got beat last time, he possibly would go here. I'm not sure. I need to see him in a finish again, really, to see if he knuckles down a bit harder than he did last time, because I wasn't too blown away by him last time. I don't know if anyone else saw that or any comments on it.
Yeah, Little Antiques lost 3 close finishes where he looked like he was going to win each time. But funnily enough, he's top of my list. I just think they're riding him a bit wrong. I think they need to come with one solid run. They keep putting this horse out in front, and he's fighting off horses the whole time, like he did in the Lawlers and Ace. And then the final one that comes to him seems to mug him at the end. But I think if they sit him in 3rd or 4th and just take him into the lead, maybe over the, between the second last and the last, and give him that one kick, because him and Tommy, reading Tommy wrong, have gone away from the rest of the field in that Lawlers and Ace. He's just been outstayed. But he was at the front from the 3rd hurdle. And I think he was in front too long. I think if they can keep him in behind horses longer, I think he's the horse that I'd be looking at for that race. But the other one that I said right from the start of the season when they won their first race, Slade Steele's a horse who's been going under the radar all the time. He never seems to be favourite. He's always about 3rd or 4th favourite. He's won 2 really good races this season. He's just sliding completely under the radar. He's 14-1 for this. He's a really good horse. He's got good form with good bumper horses last season, and he got a really poor ride when he was 3rd in the bumper at Punchestown as well, coming right round the outside a lot of horses. So for me, I think he's one that needs to be watched, but I like Antique in this field. Even though he's a weak finisher, I think it's because they're riding him a little bit wrong. But I mean, I've ridden no winners, so.
Same as us. I quite like Slade Steele as well, Mark, to be honest. I think it'd be interesting to see him out again. I see he's got an entry in the 2 mile race, hasn't he, at the weekend?
And Predator's Gold there, 16-1. He's got, I think he's favourite for, is it Nathaniel Lacey?
Yeah, he's favourite.
2-1, yeah. So, and that's at 2 mile 6. So, I'm trying to think who had form behind. Was it Caldwell Potter, I think?
Yeah, and he would have been a lot closer for that error at the last as well. He made a right error at the last, but he was just making a run at Caldwell Potter. I'm not sure he'd have got there, but he made a right harsh at the last, which was good for me because I was on Caldwell Potter, but I was seeing him coming and I was like, oh no. And then he made a mess of the last, and that was the end of him. And that sort of ground he couldn't pick up again. But I don't know. I just think Antique for me, that's the horse I'm looking at for this. And Slade Steele. That's the 2 I've pulled out of this race. But there must be others in here that are value, but I can't see them.
Are you giving up on captaincy, Johnny, or do you think there's still a sniff?
I mean, he was quite decent the last day, wasn't he? But the ground was pretty poor.
It was hideous, wasn't it? That was
Yeah.
Newbury, was it?
Yeah. I don't
Would he
know.
be a Bartlett type?
If he ran. Sorry?
Is he a Bartlett type, would you say?
I don't know, really. Well, no, I think he's more of a Baring Bingham type, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Whether he's good enough is another matter, isn't it? But, I mean, his form's okay. It's nothing special. But, again, he's sort of more of a place chance than a chance of the win, I think. But, yeah, I mean, I've still got him on side in a bet, but I'm not overly hopeful.
Not quite got the X factor.
No, he's a bit of a standard Nichols type, isn't he, for this? Really?
Alex, any particular thoughts in here?
I think similar to what all the guys have said, really. A lot of it depends on what happens at Ballyburn. There's one that's a bit further down the list that I've been waiting for an entry for. Jit Langi had some form that sort of tied him in with sort of jazzy matty gust of wind in France. Last year or the year before. Won a race in May, and then seems to be given pretty much a lot of time off. I think he's 33s on this list. OJ been waiting for an entry, not seeing anything, but I mean, I don't really know. If that gets entered or gets an entry in the next couple of weeks before the Festival runs, that could be one. But yeah, that's the only thing I can really add. Really,
there
that's
is
it.
Another one
46.
Yeah, there is another one that I've got a little bit of interest in. I noticed now he's got an entry at Sandown on Saturday, and that's Peaky Boy for Henderson. He's already won at Cheltenham, hasn't he? So, he looked all right, actually. I'd just be interested to see how well he goes next time and see if he improves a bit. But, I don't think it was out of this world, but I'd just be interested. He's been in the tracker since last season, really. So we'll see how he goes. Just looking, actually, he was with Michael Scudamore and he went to Nicky, didn't he? And then he was off the track for over 400 days. So to win after a 400-day break, quite impressive, really.
Yeah.
And he'd had a wind up as well in between. So yeah, I'm really interested to see him run.
Lovely. Okay, so Mark's quite keen on the Atlantique.
Yeah,
in there.
And Slade Steel. Yeah, that's my two at the moment. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, gents. Right, moving swiftly along, and
Bartlett.
Sorry.
Should we go to the Bartlett?
If you want, or the Triumph is the Triumph.
Triumph.
Yeah, it's the chronological order, Ian. Take the reins, OJ. You know what you're doing.
Stop jumping.
Knock me off track there, Ian.
Yeah, sorry. Here we go.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, we'll have a look at the Triumph Hurdle. If you're happy with that, Ian.
Got it. Here we go.
Thank you, sir. Burdett Road in here. Some disappointed people on the weekend, weren't there?
There was.
No.
Matty was not happy. Could be why Matty's not on tonight, couldn't it? Sorry, Matty.
I mean, the problem we have here now is how many horses are going to be scared off by Sergino's performance on Saturday, which was, eye-catching, wasn't it? Very eye-catching indeed.
Very
and obviously, he's well-worthy favourite now. He was outstanding. Obviously, we had a bit of a chat before this, didn't we? Saying how well he picked up and how comfortable he looked, and he just seemed to get better as the race unfolded. So he's obviously worthy favourite. We'll see what comes out this weekend in the Spring Juvenile from the Irish side of the sea. So, but it's all revolving around him at the moment.
Yeah. You were saying you were impressed on the weekend, Mark, with Sergino?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't say anything different because I've made the weekend video up already, and I said that by far the best performance of the weekend was Sergino. He pretty much blew me away with his performance. I thought he was superb, and I couldn't believe how quick he went away from Burdett Road, who was the favourite already, and a proven flat horse as well, who's won over long distances on the flat, and he's just quickened away from a flat horse like that so easily. I was really impressed. The one I'm looking forward to seeing this weekend to see how she gets on is Cargis of Willie Mallon's. I've backed her for the Dublin Racing Festival, the Spring Juvenile there, but I don't expect her to beat Sergino, but I'm hoping she's going to win on Saturday. I think she's a good horse. She didn't show it first time out. She was beaten by Carla Conti, but I think she'll show better form this time. But she might not even be the best of the Willie Mallon's brigade. I mean, Stormheart's in there, Bunting, etc. But I'm hoping she is the best of the Willie Mallon's representatives in this race. And she's the other one I've got on the list. I've only got two, Sergino and Big Ray and Kyrgyz.
The other, while we're on the subject of Mullins, I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing Amsterdam, which obviously is the same colours as Sergino. He's got an entry in that as well at the weekend. Looking forward to seeing him. I've heard some good things about him. And then the other interesting one that somebody pointed out today was this High Wind, which I hadn't really heard of until sort of today. He's 16-1 there. He's actually got an entry at Dundalk on Friday over 1 mile 4, which is bizarre. So I don't know what's going on there.
Little pipe opener, is it, Johnny?
Yeah. bit of an odd one, that.
You're saying about the Donnelly colours, Johnny. You got Salvatore Mundi's. I believe he's second favourite for the race on Saturday. He's 4-1. One of the ones that's yet to come out yet, and you've got Majborough as well, which was another talking horse for the Triumph. Potentially could have an entry at Saturday. So some of these, he was saying about Sergino and Stormheart, they have been impressive, but see a lot of these we're still yet to see. So it's I think I remember. So I'm going to bring up a Henderson horse, and yeah, you can laugh. But Pendant Hills was one. I think he ran up mid-Feb or something. First time mid-Feb, and then went on to win the Triumph. So we could be yet to see a horse come out for the Triumph. Yeah, could be.
That was a pretty poor Triumph, though, wasn't it, Ian? Let's be honest.
It was. But the point I was trying to make is we might not have seen the winner yet.
There's one that we've seen plenty of, isn't there? That Wadu, that one again at the weekend at Doncaster.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a Boodle sauce. I'm not quite sure what.
Been plenty of running.
Yeah, blimey. I'm sure he has got an English mark now. I can't think off the top of my head what it is, but.
Switching to Nichols, I'd love to see this Caliph de Belay have a crack at it as well. I was impressed with him. But Nichols, you don't know, do you? Might save it for somewhere else a bit further north. But yeah, I would like to see him give it a go. I don't know what else he's got in there, but
have a look.
I mean, he looks like the top one from that yard. So whether they just throw him in, I don't know. But I mean, he's got the entry, so there must be a little bit of
golden move. But
yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if he rocks up.
Seems to chuck in some in the past that some of the French horses that have not run over here, he seems to throw them in first time in the Triumph Hurdle, but you never know.
That Wad, who would obviously get weight in this as well, being a mare.
Yes.
Is that Enchanted Diamond or Ethical Diamond?
Yes.
That was a right talking horse for Mallon's first time out. It was really short price favourite and got turned over and well beat by Calaconti and was it I can't remember, or was it Interlotto?
Yeah,
Interlotto. Yeah. But they said that they had 3 big horses that week and they all got turned over. Mirazur West was one, Ethical Diamond was another. It must have been, was it Facel Vega? They thought they were the 3 best chances they had at Christmas, and they all got beaten for Malins. So that must be showing him sitting at home to be such a short price favourite at Christmas, yet it bombed out totally. So it's got to have some ability to be, a big chance like that for Malins. It could be one that maybe could come back to form. Is it 66 or 50s? My eyes are poor, but
50-1, Mark.
yeah.
So,
I don't think I'll be putting money on it, but I'll be watching out. It's got to be some sort of decent to be one of their best chances of the Christmas period.
He's entered in the Spring Juvenile on Saturday.
Yeah, you just wonder. But it's Cargis for me. It's the one I'm looking at for the Spring Juvenile. But yeah, that horse has to be better than it ran first time, Ethical Diamond.
And the price on Batman Durec's a bit telling, isn't it, for this race? 50-1 and then 6-1 for the Boodles. Very telling.
I don't think that one's too well hidden, is it, for the Boodles?
No, not now.
Obviously, Paul is very keen on that, isn't he? I think him and Jamie mentioned it on the handicap video they did with Dave. So, yeah, I think that one's out of the bag.
Alex, anything further to chuck in there?
No, not really. Obviously, I'd say I was disappointed with Burnet Road. I wasn't. I mean, he ran pretty much to what I thought he was going to in terms of, look at his RPR. He's only £3 below what he did in November. It just happened that Sergino was, just incredible, really. I'd be very surprised if something else can come out and go past what he's done. It's just whether he can repeat it on the day, really. And if he's a few pounds below what he did in January, then I guess that gives a couple of others the chance. But yeah, I think he really is the key to the market at the moment.
Yeah, that was a big moment on the weekend. Okay, happy to move on, fellas?
Happy.
Okay, Albert Bartlett it is then, please, Ian. If you can,
Okay.
I've got not a lot to say on this because I ain't got a Scooby-Doo.
Same.
Yeah,
that's fine. Short and sweet.
Here we go.
Our mate Scotty Reds likes high class hero, doesn't he?
I'm vague.
Yeah, Jamie, Ginge. I think. It's just a tough one, isn't it? Matty liked Croke Park, didn't he? But I think he was well beaten last time out in the race that was reading Tommy wrong, wasn't it? And
yeah,
with Atlantic and someone, I think, was that a shorter trip? Was that 2.5? I think so. Maybe the 3 mile or was it 2.7? I think the Bartlett could be the trip he wants. Shanna Bob was quite impressive. Some of these I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell, isn't it, with the Bartlett? It's Gidley Park, I don't think will go here. Oh, who's put?
It's a bit poor. They've got DB Cooper still in the
Yeah,
back.
I just noticed that. That's all.
Yeah.
Very bad. That is like we just need to sort that out.
Johnny Who 25-1. I think he'll come here after he's run at the weekend.
If I had to have a stab right now, it would be Johnny Who.
I like that. I Will Be By of Willie Mullins when it beat My Trump Card. I thought it jumped really well first time out. It was really impressive. It was just sat waiting and took My Trump Card just when it wanted to. My Trump Card won on Saturday. He could be an outsider for this race. I Will Be By. I have 3 on mine. Shanna Bob beat Kerry Hill quite easily, actually, last time out, and Kerry Hill came out and won the River Dawn. I wasn't really that impressed with Shanna Bob, but the form is starting to stack up out of that race, so he might be better than I thought at the time. I wasn't really that impressed with him. When I did my review, I wasn't really that impressed with Shanna Bob, but the form is working out. The other one I've got on the list, and you're not going to like this one, is I think if it stepped up and tripped, this could be the race for Captain Teague myself. But and he's the one that's highlighted for me. But I've got 3. I Will Be By, Shanna Bob, and Captain Teague. I think Captain Teague, he's got a turn of foot, but he's got a lot of stamina as well. It could be a bit like Stay Away Fair last year. I don't think he's got the pace to win the Bartlett. The Ballymore, sorry. And I think if he came to the Bartlett, he might have more chance. So he'd be quite high up my list. And the other two were Shanna Bob and I Will Be By as an outsider who I think's got a decent chance.
Yeah,
Saying about Shanna Bob beating Kerry Hill, that was Kerry Hill won at Doncaster, didn't he, on Saturday?
Yeah, and he was
Impressively.
impressive.
Yeah.
Ian, are you still interested in Stella Story? Because I know it was
I am. Yes, he was
horses to follow last year.
Yeah, he was one of my bumper horses a bumper horse to follow. But I think I wonder if, especially depending on how Croke Park gets on, I wonder if there may be put him in like a pipe, something like that, Martin Pipe. I think he'd be better at 3 mile, but like a step up. I wonder if they'll try and get a mark and put him in the Martin Pipe himself, but which would be a
he's on
shame.
137 at the minute.
Yeah.
I think he needs a strong pace, Stellar Story. These slow run races aren't doing him any favours because he's getting tough for toe. And maybe something like the Pipe where they go really a million miles an hour might not be so bad for him. But if they went fast in this, he'd be more into, because he had no chance against a horse like Lachlan last time out when Lachlan got first run on him in a slowly run race, and he needs fast pace, I think, Stellar Story. But his bumper form's very good. He's in there with Il Atlantique and Firefox. He's got form with those horses, so he's no mag. I don't think he'd be out of it in a race like this. I think it would suit him a lot better than the races he's been running in lately. But you're right, they could go for the Pipe with him as well.
Our old favourite still got an entry in here, Chapeau de Soleil.
Chapeau.
I've just given up really on him.
That jumping last time out was shocking. He stayed on well. He stayed on well when Patrick Mullins left him alone, but it's jumping, like I said, second, third and fifth he made mistakes, and he was out of the race before it had started. I think he's got a big engine, Chapeau de Soleil, but he just won't show the ability he's got.
Yes. Yeah, he seems an awkward ride, doesn't he, Mark?
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of Patrick Mullins, and I hope we don't have to put up with him being on it again.
What's Gidley Park in here, Ian, around 20s?
Let's have a look.
Just
20-1, yeah.
Just thinking, going back to Saturday again, he looked like he was almost going to get beaten after the last, when was it Lucky Place who came up, and I think headed him for a short while, but he certainly battled back and won quite snugly. So you wonder if he could go further.
Yeah, I think he could go further, Gidley Park, but I think they'll run him in the Ballymore. I haven't really thought about him for this race because I think they'll go Ballymore with him.
Yes, I suppose with him winning races at that distance, there's no need to step him up, really, is there?
Right. Okay, we happy with that, Alex? Nothing particular for you in there?
I think the only one I'm interested in really at this stage is Predator's Gold. I know he's now favourite, isn't he, at the DRF for that 2 mile 6 race. I know obviously been another step up for another couple of furlongs, but I mean he's by the same sire as Ante-Post. He's had 2 starts over hurdles this year. I think he won over 2.5 miles, and then he was second, done a little bit for turn of foot over 2. So, I think he'd interest me. I mean, if he wins at the DRF over 2 mile 6, then I can imagine his price is going to come in. I mean, he is 2-1 as well, so he's the favourite for that race. He's actually a shorter price than some of the other ones in here. It's just a bit of a minefield, really, isn't it? I mean, you got, I think, 5 of the top 6 or 7 are Willie Mullins. You got the same pretty much in the Ballymore, and then not the same in Supreme. It's just how do you know which race they're all going to go for? He doesn't even know which race they're all going to go for, does he? So, no. Just get a bingo card and hope for the best.
Was it out of the early entries? What did I say to you the other day, Ian? Out of the early entries, the total amount of early
I think he had like 30% of them, didn't he, or something? Is
that
right?
He did, yeah. Him and Gordon Elliott.
28%. Yeah, so far from the early entry races, there's been 540 horses entered. and 151 of them belong to Mr. Mullins or are trained by Mr. Mullins. Another 70 by Gordon Elliott. So they've got 41% of all the entries in all.
Absolutely.
All the early entry races so far. So it's a case of, hopefully things will be a little bit clearer after this upcoming weekend.
Between the Mojo, they'll probably win 40% of the races at Cheltenham, won't they? So it does all stack up.
Yeah, true enough. Okay, should we go chasing?
This one won't take long, AJ. Arkle.
No comment.
I got a comment with this one.
It could be aimed at someone, could it?
No, not at all. It's just I think this whole race just depends on what happens in Dublin. I mean, particularly Market. I mean, if Gaelic Warrior beats Marine Nationale in Dublin over 2 miles, surely he goes favourite, and then that has a knock-on impact to the turners. But if he gets well beaten by Marine Nationale, I mean, what can you even see running in this race? It could be like a 3 or 4 runner race if Gaelic Warrior gets beat. Just an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And looking through them, there's not a lot between the rest of them. I mean, if Marine beats Gaelic Warrior and that pushes Gaelic definitely to the turners, then I honestly think the second best horse in this race then becomes JPR1. I think he's been really good this season, and he's had a couple of wins, hasn't he? He should have 3 wins under his belt.
The one in Cheltenham.
I think if you're looking at an each way bet and there's only going to be 4 or 5 turning up, then that's the one that you should be on.
When I watched that JPR one, I thought he was going to win 6 lengths at Lingfield, and I just thought he sort of pulled himself up a little bit in the last 150 yards. And I worried about that because I thought he would be the each way bet in this race till I saw him pull himself up, and I thought, how's he going to go up the hill? I had the each way bet maybe being Calixlos. I'd like to see Blood Destiny go back in distance as well to this race, but I think Calixlos was quite impressive last time out. Everyone was watching Mr. Policeman, who made just error after error, but Calixlos has won a Triumph Hurdle. And Henry de Bromhead's got sort of form for pulling out a rabbit out the heart in this race. And, he's not a bad horse, I think, Calixlos, so I wouldn't write him off totally. Hunter's Yarn, he's maybe the Malon's sort of 4th string, but he actually beat the same horse as Marine Nationale beat, and he beat him well. But he keeps making mistakes, Hunter's Yarn. You can't trust him to not make a mistake. He's unseated his rider first time out, and then he's bulldozed the second last, even when he won his beginner's chase. But yeah, I think for me, Calixlos might be a each way bet in this, or maybe Blood Destiny, because he was superb first time out, but that Spillon's Tower beat him last time. I don't know. That might be a weapon, and we don't know. But I think dropping back, Blood Destiny's got good jumping. But I think if I was pushed, I would go for Calixlos as an each way bet. But nothing's going to touch Marine Nationale, I don't think, really.
Marine fan, Mark?
It wasn't last season, but I thought his chasing debut was pretty flawless. And, when you put that with his win last season in the Supreme, it's hard to see what's going to beat him. I mean, obviously, if Gaelic Warrior did beat him, it turns the markets for the turners and this upside down. And that's why 8 to 11 for the Arkle is a crazy price, especially Ante-Post, because he could get beaten at the Dublin Racing Festival. Is going to be a better price. He could get injured or, anything before the race. And he's still got a win at Cheltenham as well, even if he does win at the Dublin Racing Festival. So taking that price is craziness, Ante-Post. But I think he'll win. But I wouldn't say I'm a fan, no, but I think he's a good horse. And, you just got to look at the form book and how he won his beginner's chase.
Sharjah going to take the entry here, boys. 33 to 1. He's going to overrun here, won't he?
I don't know if you go here or if you'll go
Turners.
Yeah, but then again, you look at it depends on you. You have to look at Facile Vega. If he gets well beat at the weekend, do they step him up? But does he then want to face Gaelic Warriors? It's a tough one. You see, Mullins potentially's got Illited Tom could go up. So you mentioned about Blood Destiny, so it's hard to tell. I think we'll probably know more come Saturday who gets beaten by how well or how much. We'll probably have a better idea of the market, but don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a lot of these you could probably scrub out, but Iroko won't run. And if I just scroll down a bit more, my mate Mozzie was scraping the barrel here a bit. Uncle Phil,
he's probably going to go Grand Annual, isn't he, my mate Mozzie?
Yeah,
definitely.
That's why I was only asking about Sharjah because they're thinking about how many won't run, and then you think, champion hurdle experience, and is there a case to be made for a place price?
The horse who got knocked out the race at Wingfield, Jello. Would he be a each way shout for this at a big price? Or is he not in there?
There he is, 40 to 1.
He had good form, and Matata just blew him out of that race, knocked him over at the first fence. So he had good form. He's not got bad form. Might need soft ground, but
yeah,
I don't know where else he could go. What's his mark?
149.
Yeah, you wouldn't win the Grand Annual off that.
No, definitely not. That might be a
Master
decent
Chewy 150. He's been
not
campaigning terribly,
run
isn't he?
here.
What was that, Al?
Just said Master Chewy 150, but he's been campaigned terribly. Just had a look. It seemed that he was running every other week, and he's had 5 runs in the last 80 days. I think that's just typical Nige overrunning his horses. But yeah, I wouldn't give him a chance in this. But yeah, just sprung in my mind.
Okay. Happy to move on.
Pete. Yep.
National Hunt, please, Ian.
Oh, yeah, National Hunt.
So everyone, here we go. Embassy Gardens.
Anybody got anything immediately jumping out at them in the National Hunt?
I hate the favourite.
I think I've narrowed it down to a couple. I like, obviously, we talked about Salvador Ziggy, and I've put him up as one of my Ante-Post picks. I think Manila Cocoon is the other one I'm quite interested in. I'm not sure if Corbett's Cross will go here. I'm not sure if Florian Pauls will go here, but and Nick Rocket, as I've heard, Nick Rocket could be. I know Embassy Gardens is the favourite, but I've heard Nick Rocket could be the one that Patrick chooses for this race. But yeah, this is another one. It's tough, isn't it? It's tough what to.
The thing is, Willie won't run all them, will he? He'll run 2 probably max, I would think. And it'll be Embassy Gardens plus one other by the looks of it. I'm in a bit of a mess with this race, to be honest with you.
3-card brag, I think, needs about 43 miles. I don't think Broadway Boy will go here. Fabrice the Shamdu could be another one for the places. Let's keep looking.
Mr. Coffee.
I like Ziggy.
Oh, no.
Same as Ian, I like Ziggy. Gordon, he likes to get his horses for this race experience early, doesn't he? So run them through sort of the late summer and then last run sort of October time, and then he puts them away. Whatever his main one is, he tends to do that with. He did it last year with Chemical Energy. I think
Galvin.
The year before he did it with Galvin, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's obviously been the plan for a long time, and I can forgive him that performance in America because another one where it's his. I think it was like he ran a lot of races in a very short period of time as well. And he had a performance a bit like that at the end of last season where he just sort of seemed to stop. That he did that at Punchestown. He was going pretty well coming around the bend. He just suddenly just cut out. I think he's prone to that when he's just a bit tired or a bit over raced. So I mean, he's been freshened up. I'm sure they'll be doing plenty with him now, and that would be my one for this race. But there's no massively overconfident fancy. But I do dislike the favourite.
Mark, have you got anything particular in here?
Well, I was never a fan of Embassy Gardens, but actually I thought he jumped brilliantly on Sunday. But even though he needs 43 miles, I thought 3-car Bragg here. Like, if you look at last season's Albert Bartlett, he was actually 5th. I know he's a bit of a twicer and he seems like he's going to win races and he doesn't, but I thought the horse he got beaten by last time, Monty Star, is a lot better than he's been given credit for. And 3-car Bragg was actually favourite for this race before he ran against Monty Star. And now he's out to 12, 14 to 1 just because he lost that race, but I think he lost a good horse. There's a few in here I worry about. People are talking about Nick Rocket, but he always runs right-handed, and then all of a sudden, after running right-handed for about the last 6 runs, he's going to suddenly, he hasn't qualified yet either, but, you know, he's going to have to run left-handed, and he's going to have to look pretty exceptional for Patrick to ride him for me. So I would think that Nick Rocket's underpriced myself. I think you never know the Corbett's Cross and the JP runners, do you? I mean, they jug, and especially Emmett Mullins, he puts horses over hurdles 2 miles and then jumps over 3 miles, and so you never know what he's going to do next. And he's the only JP representative in the whole field. And I think over 3 miles 6, his jumping might be a little bit better, but I think each way I would go with 3-car Bragg. But that's, you know, that's hanging my hat on one race, the race with him and Monty Star, and because I fancy Monty Star for the next race we're going to talk about. So I'm going with 3-car Bragg sort of each way in this, because I think it'll be a small field, maybe 6, 8 runners, and I think 3-car Bragg will place at least. And from Elliott's Yard, he's bound to get a decent amateur jockey. So yeah, I would go with him at the prices.
One I think should go here, but I don't think will go here, is Apple Away, Lucinda Russell.
Yeah, I was just going to say it, Ian.
Get the mare's allowance. I think she could. I think this would be her trip, but I just got a feeling that they won't run her here. They might put her in the 3-mile race, but I think she could stay this trip.
I think she'd definitely stay this trip.
Mm.
I think if she went here and she got an easy lead, because I thought she got pestered on the lead last time and they cut their own throats, the 2 at the front at Warwick, Karen, I can't remember the other one that she raced against. I think if she came here, she'd have a chance with the mare's allowance. If she got out front on her own and let to set her own pace, she might have a decent chance. But yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to putting her in this race. But I think you think she'll go in the 3-miler. I thought she might go in the mare's chase.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. 12 to 1 for the mare's chase at the moment, I think.
I think she needs further. But...
yeah, well, I mean, she won 3-mile hurdle at Aintree last season. So, but Lucinda Russell's got this knack, even though her horses don't run well all season. When the festivals come, she's very good. If she sends any horses to Cheltenham or Aintree, they've usually got a chance no matter what price they are.
I don't think there's much else lurking down the bottom. Chianti Classico will go to the Ultima. Oh, God, not bloody Mr. Coffee.
Paul Nicholls needs to send Stay Away Faye, because that'd be a massive bet if he did.
Stay Away Faye.
He would absolutely hammer these. Absolutely destroy.
Would you want him jumping more fences, Johnny?
Yeah. He'll be fine. They go round slow, don't they? And he'll just grit it out. And I'd just be all over him if he went here.
What's the plan with Flooring Porter then?
Who knows now? I'm not talking about it.
Stayers Hurdle.
But he's only got an entry in this on the Stayers, hasn't he? I think now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll end up in the cross country now.
Yeah.
For a real spanner in the works.
Yeah. I don't think I think he'll go Stayers again. I don't think he'll go here.
Yeah. Probably right.
Okay. wary of the clock ticking and keeping Mr.
Okay.
Mackay for too late, boys. So we'll move to the Brown Advisory Novice Chase, if we may, Bossman.
Okay, no problem. Here we go.
Similar horses, really, to discuss anyway, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Stay away, Faith, for you, Johnny.
Well, I like Stay Away Fair, but I also like Grange Clare West. But again, does he go here or does he go to the Turners? I really don't know at the moment. I'd love him to go here because I've got a ticket of 50 to 1 on him for this race. So.
And me.
It'd be nice for him to go here, even at each way price. He'd be quite happy with that. But yeah, I like the two. I mean, Factor Files, someone I haven't really covered at the moment. Might be one that I need to sort of get into my book. But yeah, again, it's a bit of it's hard, isn't it, to predict who's going where.
Yeah.
These names appear in 2, 3, 4 races, don't they? Some of them.
Broadway
Alex,
Boy,
anything?
40-1.
I'd still give Broadway Boy a chance. I think it's another one where he's fallen foul to Nigel's over racing. That race at Warwick, where he's third behind those ones. I mean, he had 2 hard races at Cheltenham before that in November and December. He had a pretty hard race there in October, and he ran at Worcester in September. So in the space of 2.5 months, he's run 5 times over 3 miles and had difficult races. Just too much racing. They should have just left him alone for a bit. I'd still give him a chance. I mean, he's put up RPRs of 153 and 155 at Cheltenham this year. And I can't see him needing that much more than what he's put up in those performances to win a race like the Browns or be in the top 3. So I think he's very much overpriced. Grange Clare West, I do really like him, but you just never know what you're going to get on the day. He's had some good races and he's put in some absolute stinkers as well, hasn't he? So, yeah, I think those would be sort of the 2 that I'd look at.
Anybody? Are we writing off Giovinco after Christmas?
I think he'll end up in the Ultima.
Very close. Prior to that,
I think he'll end up in the Ultima, OJ, and I think they'll have Korak Rambler in that race as well to bring his weight down.
Okay,
spin around.
Interesting. What do you think of that, Mark?
I think I am just nailed on Monty Star in this race each way. I love this horse, and he's my pick for this. I thought he was very good on debut. I don't think he was fully fit. I thought when he beat 3-Car Bragg, his jumping was superb, and Rachel Blackmore was just pulling him back all the time, sitting in the slipstream. Henry de Bromhead's got a lot of, history with this race, Manila Endo, horses like that coming into this race for these owners. I think he's just been aimed at this race all season. This is his only entry. I think at 12-1 each way, he's the best bet out of all the races we're covering. I think he's the best bet out of the races we're covering now.
It's time.
Well, there you go. How about a little related each way double there then with Monty Star and 3-Car Bragg?
I think just go with a single on Monty Star. I don't trust 3-Car Bragg that much, but
speculative each way double then.
I'd have the 50p on Monty Star and 5p. And just the 5p on 3-Car Bragg.
That'll do, Mark. That'll do. I'm enjoying that.
No, you seem very keen on that one, Mark. So it's definitely one to take note.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I am keen on Monty Star. I do think that I don't think it'll be a big field, and I think backing him each way now, as long as he gets there, I think he'll run a big race. I mean, obviously there's really good horses in there at the top of the market. Factor File, Grange Clare West, Stay Away Phase. I mean, he's got open company for him now in a good race. But yeah, at the prices, I just think Monty Star's a good horse, and with his only entry, it's clear that de Bromhead's just aimed at this race all season.
Yeah, I mean,
The
you can
only
get-
worry I've got with it is the run in Albert Bartlett last season wasn't that good, but I think he bottomed the horse out in its prep run. I think it was at Thurles or Clonmel, and the horse wasn't right for the race. I don't think after that, because the other horse was at Absolute Notions, also ran poorly. I don't know. It was a Rob Coeur horse anyway. He had 2 in the race, and they both ran poorly after. So I'm keen on Monty Star in that race. That's my input for this race.
Yeah, it was Hidden Valley Lake. It was.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah. Hidden Valley Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Monty's is available 10-1 non-run and no bet, which seems fair, doesn't it? You at least get your money back if something happens.
And each way, I can't see it being a big field. And if he's out of the frame, then I'm a poor man.
And there we go. That's what we want from this show, is little tidbits like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mackay. All right, we happy to move on then, fellas?
Yeah.
Last one, the Turners.
Turners.
Your favourite, Alex?
Trainers. Oh, the Turners.
Trainers. Good old trainers. Here we go.
Here we go. Gaelic Warrior, Johnny, Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's revolving around the horse again, just one, isn't it? And seeing what he does this weekend. I mean, it's very rare that you get a horse that's that short that'll go for another race where he's sort of, 10 times the price or whatever. I'm a little bit surprised that they're taking each other on, firstly, but it should be a good race, shouldn't it? If at the weekend, if they do both rock up, which they should do now by the looks of it. Just looking through, I've been really impressed with Ginny's Destiny. I just think he's one of these horses that people keep saying he's not good enough, and then if he wins, you'd be like, why should I be surprised? He loves the course and distance. He's game. He jumps well. He puts other horses under pressure with his jumping. And, he's a worthy second favourite to me, looking at all the others. He keeps doing it over and over again. So if Gaelic Warrior didn't come here, then, he would have every chance, wouldn't he? But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he could put Gaelic Warrior under pressure with his jumping as well, should they both turn up in this race. But
it's like Stage Star Mark II, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I did back in straight after that win on the weekend. Managed to get some 10-1 and he's best price 6s now. I just thought he was a good cover for Gaelic, who I've already got in this race. But I mean, of the rest, I'm not. A lot of the others are in below there probably won't go here. They'll go over further. So I'm not really that interested in anything else apart from the top 2.
And are you less concerned about the old, talk about dividing Twitter, the old Gaelic Warrior not being a jumping left-handed argument sort of thing? It's looked a lot better over fences than hurdles.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me as much as it does other people. He seems to do it at the last fence, if anything. But if he's 10 lengths clear, it shouldn't really matter, should it? But it doesn't really. I mean, obviously, it's a slight issue, but it wouldn't put me off him.
I thought he jumped nice and straight last time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was good. I know Matty hates him, doesn't he? He doesn't like him at all. He picks holes in everything he does.
Matty fuming. Alex?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think Hermes Allen might be overpriced.
Yeah, he might be. I think he might be as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously beaten 10 lengths by Ile Francais at Kempton. So that horse looked very impressive. And he didn't give up at all. He just kept battling and battling. And then I see he's got an entry over 2.5 miles next time as well. So you'd imagine maybe they're going to stick to 2.5 miles as the trip. And like you said, a lot of these aren't going to go for this race. I wonder if I'm talking myself into a bet on him.
Do it, Alex.
He's
Christ almighty.
season 155 both times. So
Epic boost, Alex. Do it.
Need to top this up, Al, before you do that.
And I mean, if Gaelic Warrior doesn't go, then I mean he's going to shorten significantly, isn't he? So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Mark? I know you said you quite like him.
I do, yeah. I was surprised to see the price, though.
Yeah.
It's I had a look at. Yeah, I like Hermes Allen. I think his form's better than people are. Yeah, I don't think he's getting much credit for his 2 runs this season. He's been quite good. That run against Ile Francais, he had no chance of winning that race, really, but he beat the rest pretty easily. The other horse I was looking at that got beaten in a race that everyone thought he should have won was Founder 50. People thought he should have won the Drinmore, but I think the ground was right against him, and he just got beaten by a stare who, Ion Maximus, who just loved the ground and loved how hard a race it was. I thought Founder 50, he's already beaten Facile Vega. He's pretty much overpriced for me. I'm praying Iroko runs because I loved him. I know it's going to be a big ask to come back after one run and an injury scare to run well, but he's a good horse, Iroko, and his debut was superb. But I think for me, it would be Hermes Allen or Founder 50 each way, I think, that I'd be looking at here. It's hard to see what JP's going to run. I think a lot's going to depend on whether Iroko's fit or not, where a lot of these horses go, because he hasn't entered that many. And if Iroko can't run, he won't have a runner in the Arkle at all. And then he's going to have to decide where he goes with Corbett's Cross and Factor File, where he places those horses. So, but Founder 50 or Hermes Allen for me.
I mean, if you look at the hurdles form, I mean, Hermes Allen's probably only behind Gaelic and Facile Vega, isn't he, on hurdles form? And, he jumps well enough. So, yeah, it puts him, not too far behind them two, does it?
I'm surprised Ginny's Destiny's got so short. I was impressed with the performance, but 6-1, I think the price Johnny got at 10-1 is probably fair and probably the correct price. 6-1's getting skinny now, that.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was 6.
I'd rather be on Hermes Allen if he was definitely running than Ginny's Destiny. At the prices, if they were the same price, it'd be different, but I think at 14-1 out of the two, I'd be taking Hermes Allen.
I'm glad you mentioned Founder 50 because I only have the odd rare Ante-Post bet by this point, but I am on Founder 50 for the Turners at 25s.
I mean, his form's been underrated, really. Everyone just goes, when a big hot pot gets beat, the winner gets no credit. And Founder 50 ran a good race over a distance, probably too short for him. But because Facile Vega got beat, he got no credit for it at all. And in the Drinmore, I think he'd have won on decent ground. I think it was just the ground that Ion Maximus beat him. So he's going to be a Gordon Elliott representative, probably the only one in that race. So.
Lovely. Ian, what are you thinking?
Similar to what the guys have said, it's tough to. I like Tarok, and he was one of my horses to follow, but I wanted. The news was great that he potentially could be back. There's weather. You probably need to run in the next week or two, I think. Otherwise, it'll be too close to the festival.
Right.
I don't know about Hermes Allen. Would he not go up to 3 Mile? Would you think he'll stay?
Then he'd have to race against
3 Mile, but I think it just depends on Gaelic Warrior. I wonder if some of these would be scared of him and potentially go up in trip to the 3 miles. You might see a bigger field for the Brown Advisory and a smaller field here. But I think, it all depends on Saturday, I think, and how Facile Vega runs and Gaelic Warrior. And that will determine who goes where and what. But I don't think we said about Sharjah down the bottom. Could he be a price of 40-1 potentially? And I think we're scraping the barrel here. Mr. Policeman, I thought, was terrible last time out. Old Shambali kid, Alex. But
He's had one stadium offences and then not been seen since. So
yeah,
it wasn't very good then either. So I don't think anything's going to happen with him.
no. But I think it'll be a small field. I think Grey Dawning will go 3 miles, and Factor Foul I think potentially could go here, and Corbett's Cross will go up. But I don't think there's much. I do like Gaelic Warrior, but I think I'm just hoping that maybe Iroko can get back fit and give us a good run.
Okay. Thank you, chaps. Well, I think not easy. It was never going to be easy with the novices, and as we alluded to earlier on, Mr. Mullins having so many entries. Hopefully things will become a little bit clearer over the next 7 days. This time next week, we may have a clearer look on things, but the whole point of this is to try and identify any bits of value that might be there. And hopefully, thanks to your guys' expertise, anybody watching might have just picked up a little bit of something that might help them if they're already fancying something. So, good fun, chaps. Once again, we've overrun a little bit, so I won't go on too long. Other than Mr. Mackay, thank you ever so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Mark.
It's a pleasure.
A long time, and hopefully you can come back on with us again soon.
Just keep building your channel, guys. Thanks very much for having me on, and I'm loving all the different guests you're having on. I do watch every video, and just good luck building it, and I'm available anytime. Just give us a shout.
That's very kind of you, sir. Very kind. And obviously, anybody who, I doubt there's anybody out there, but anybody who isn't already aware, make sure you get on YouTube and follow Mark's Cheltenham Chat channel, because as you can tell from tonight, and as I said at the start of the show, this man knows his onions. Is that the right word, Ian?
Yeah, that's the right word.
And he's got he's also got a long and proven track record of it. You can go back many years. So yes,
I'm due a bad year though.
Oh, Mark, don't say that.
Yeah.
Well,
Rangers fans aren't welcome though, are they, Mark?
No, they're not. No, I don't want them winning money.
Oh, no.
Yes. So thank you, and thank you, fellas. And I think we're recording again Thursday night with the Dublin Racing Festival preview, which will be out on Friday.
Yep, couple of Motley Crews on, haven't we?
Yep, this will be out tomorrow morning, 8:30ish, hopefully. Yep. And till next time, thank you again, folks.